Again, thank you everyone for being here. We also want everyone to just like to talk in the chat. So if you're joining us for the first time, we'd love to know how you heard about us, what brought you here for the first time. And if you're not joining us for the first time and you do usually join us, then just go ahead and welcome everyone in the chat. Let us know how you're doing tonight. And we look forward to connecting with all of you this evening. Again, we will be recording the meeting. So if you do not want your video recorded, go ahead and turn your video off. You can still connect with us in the chat, or when we have our discussion later on, you can still connect with us by voice, by unmuting yourself. But welcome everyone. Hey Nivea. Hey Rachel. I see that Catherine is joining us for the first time from reading about the Repeal 3 Strikes Law. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to take a minute real quick, again, giving people a little bit more time to join us and go over our agenda. And then me and my co-host, Daisy, will go ahead and introduce ourselves for those who are not familiar with us. So what our agenda looks like for tonight is we'll start with just like welcomes and member recognition. In our welcome, we generally have like a breathing or just like a grounding exercise to give us all a minute to transition from whatever it was that we may have been doing prior to joining this call. So we'll take a couple of minutes just to breathe, just to relax and get grounded. And then we'll have an overview of like our membership structure with Daisy. After that, we'll give you all some updates. So like what's new or what's happening at Initiate Justice in general. And then also some updates from all of our committees. So we have several different committees that assist us in doing our advocacy and organizing work and accomplishing our goals. And so we'll hear from each of them as to what they're currently working on, how you can plug in, and when their meetings are. Then we'll share with you all like our full calendar of events, how you can access that. And then for our main event, our main segment tonight, we'll be focusing on the power of networking, building community and relationships, and sharing resources. So that'll start with an open discussion between all of us. We'll have some breakout groups for you all to discuss with one another, and then we'll come back and debrief together. And then how we typically end our member meetings is with an announcement of our member of the month, along with updates on upcoming events. So again, that is our agenda. We're super happy for everyone who's joining us. Reminder, if you are joining us for the first time, please let us know how you heard about us. What brought you to this meeting tonight? We would love to know. Me and Daisy do review the chat after the meeting. So again, we'd love to hear from you and know how you discovered Initiate Justice, and also welcome you into this space with us. My name is Antoinette Radcliffe. I'm the outside organizing manager with Initiate Justice, and I facilitate the member meetings with Daisy.
Hi, everyone. Welcome, folks. If you are new and your first time, I saw there's a couple of folks here for the first time, so we hope you enjoy your meeting tonight. I might be biased in saying that our meetings are popping, but you'll see for yourself from the team as you hear from them in a couple of minutes. But I serve as IJ Statewide Advocacy Manager, and just really excited to continue to share space with you all and build our movement. There's a couple folks who shared in the chat that they are here from TikTok, so welcome. And we'll share more about what we are doing as an organization to move towards dismantling prisons and what we invest our work in. But just wanted to say thank you for being here, and we hope you enjoy your evening. And please utilize the chat as you see fit. We do our best to try to answer questions throughout the meeting, but if we aren't able to get to your questions tonight, we do email you back with the response based off of what we're able to answer throughout the course of the evening. So definitely connect with each other in the chat. And hopefully you walk away meeting some new friends at the end of our meeting. But I think without further ado, Antoinette, I'll pass it over to Oka, who can lead us into a grounding exercise for the evening.
Thank you, Antoinette and Daisy. And thank you to each of you for being here. I am so grateful. Today is 2/2/22. What a beautiful day. The veil is thin, so anything you want or desire, today is a beautiful day to call that in. It's also the new moon in Aquarius, which the energy is still a lot for that, which is a beautiful time to go inward. So I invite you to turn off your camera if you like. If you feel called to lay down, or if you feel called to sit up, then sit up. Feel free to gaze your eyes down or close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, hold it at the top. Relax your shoulders, facial muscles, and let that air out. Beautiful. Another collective, beautiful breath in, letting this compassionate energy into your body, filling up your lower belly, letting your lower belly expand, holding it at the top, opening your mouth or out your nose, let it out. Beautiful. Another deep breath in your nose.
Nothing to do with getting my nose.
Letting that nourishing oxygen in. Hold it at the top. Love, love, love. Let it go.
Stay out. You don't feel like it.
Begin to notice the air coming in your nose. And the air leaving your nose. Relaxing your jaw, your shoulders, your eyes, your heart space. Relaxing your hips. And wherever you are, come to your heart. Place your left hand over your heart and begin to feel your heart beating. Oxytocin is released from our brains when we feel our heart beating. Notice your mood, your breath, your physical sensations. Begin to notice your thoughts. And become aware that you are not your thoughts. You are something divine. Inhale in light and exhale out any doubt you have. Breathe in love. And breathe out fear. Breathe in trust. And breathe breathe out worry. Breathing in and out of your nose. Send gratitude to yourself for showing up. And in this space of gratitude, begin to call in anything you want or desire. There are no limits, only abundance. You are deserving of anything you want, anything you desire. Coming back to your breath, breathing in, I am, and breathing out, loved. Breathe in, I am, and breathe out, needed. Breathe in, I am, and breathe out, radiant. You are needed, you are loved, you are needed and loved, and you are radiant. Bring your awareness back into your body, back into your breath. And as you slowly open your eyes, or feel free to stay here for a little bit longer, begin to see all of the colors your eyes get to see, and all the sounds your ears get to hear. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oka, for grounding us with that exercise. And please, folks, feel free to share in the chat any remarks you have about what that was like for you. Oka leads our healing committee in our circles along with Rashida. So you'll be hearing from Oka later on tonight about what that looks like, and if that's something that you're interested in participating in. But appreciate you, Oka, for grounding us tonight before we kick off our meeting. So we've had several folks come into the room since we started the meeting. So just again, wanting to welcome folks who are coming into the space and joining us for our member meeting. If it's your first time, please let us know in the chat how you heard about IJ. We always love to see where folks are tuning in from, what platforms they connected with us through. It just kind of helps us better assess where our outreach, where the impact is at the most. So feel free to share that, and also feel free to utilize the chat to your advantage. As I mentioned earlier, we do our best to try to review the chat and answer questions throughout the meeting. If for whatever reason a question was unanswered, we will get back to you in an email, because we have your information based off the registration information that you filled out. But definitely feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we'll do our best to try to get to them through the course of the evening. And then just also a reminder that we do have live transcription available on the Zoom application. So if you go to your settings and you go to live transcript, that allows you to be able to see subtitles if that's something that you wanted to utilize during the course of the meeting. But otherwise, welcome to everybody. And again, my name is Daisy, serving as IJ's Statewide Advocacy Manager. So we are here kicking off our second meeting of the year. It is 2-2-2-2. So hopefully if you were writing
it's 2-2-2-2.
your date, if you were writing your date today, you didn't get confused with all of those twos today. But we appreciate you being with us this evening. We also just wanted to remind folks who are brand new that we do have a membership structure in place where folks from the general community can become outside members. And basically what that means is, as an outside member, you are someone that has attended at least 3 out of 4 consecutive member meetings. These member meetings are hosted once a month on the first Wednesday of every month from 6:30 to 8:30. And you also completed the new member orientation that takes place at the end of each member meeting. And alongside with that, you're also active with at least one of the committees that we have. So we are going to be hearing from our committee leads in a couple of minutes as far as what they've been up to, but essentially participating in those committees is crucial to be able to advance the work that we are doing. And so by completing all of those requirements, you are able to become an outside member, and that allows you to receive a welcome package that contains a t-shirt like the one that I'm wearing, repping Initiate Justice, and also other goodies. And in addition, in order to be an outside member, you don't have to be directly impacted to become an outside member. That requirement is only for folks who are going through the Institute of Impacted Leaders, who go on to become outside organizers in that capacity. But just wanted to give that general overview of our membership structure for folks who were wondering what that is. And we are over 150 outside members, growing strong, and appreciate all the work that you all bring to the table. But just wanted to bring that to folks' attention, because I know we've had a lot of folks coming in, and I'm looking, I think in the last 5 minutes, the number of people that keeps coming into the room keeps growing. So I just wanted to uplift that. And without further ado, I'm actually going to pass it back over to Antoinette, who's going to give some organizational updates to share with you all. Oh, Antoinette, your audio is out.
Okay, can you hear me now? Great. Thank you, Daisy. Sorry about that. And thank you for letting me know. So like Daisy mentioned, we have an outside membership structure, but we also have dedicated outside organizers. So what an outside organizer is one of our directly impacted community members who has joined and completed our Institute of Impacted Leaders program. So our Institute of Impacted Leaders program is the way that we organize individuals on the outside and equip them with the tools and the knowledge that they need to advocate for themselves and their loved ones, to be engaged in the statewide lawmaking process, and to organize in their communities. It's a free 12-week advocacy training program where participants learn alongside of other individuals in their local communities. They learn the essentials of community organizing. They learn how the policy process works in California. So how does a law go from being an idea to a bill and then becoming a signed piece of legislation? And then they learn where in that process they can uplift their voice, their experiences, and the voices and experiences of their loved ones and other impacted people. They then go on to learn in the last couple of weeks how to now use this information, use laws, use legislation, use their networks to advocate for themselves and their loved ones throughout the reentry process, when visiting a prison, and also for their loved ones legally to ultimately seek freedom for them. So our Institute of Impacted Leaders program is actually currently accepting applications. So if you want to learn more about the program, then you can visit our website, and I will plug that into the chat now, and you can learn a little bit more about the program. It's exclusively for people who are directly impacted, so either formerly incarcerated or supporting a loved one who is currently or formerly incarcerated, and it was created and developed by directly impacted people. Our Institute of Impacted Leaders has, since it's been established, graduated over 13 cohorts in 12 different regions throughout the state of California. We are revisiting 3 of those regions this year, and so our Los Angeles area application is now open. If you are in LA, if you've been interested in the program, and if you are directly impacted, then you can go to tinyurl.com/impactedleadersLA, and you can apply for the program. It is this spring, running from March to June, and the application is open until February 18th. Again, the only requirements to apply for our Institute of Impacted Leaders is that you are directly impacted by incarceration and you're interested in fighting for the freedom of all people. Now, if you're not in LA, we are also going to be in the Inland Empire region and in the Bay Area later on this year. And then in coming years, we go to additional locations based upon where the interest is. So if you are not in LA, we have another form that you can complete, which is tinyurl.com/impactedleaders. And if you go to this link, you can let us know where you are, and we will inform you of upcoming application periods. So again, tinyurl.com/impactedleadersLA if you are an LA area resident and would like to apply for this spring's cohort, and then tinyurl.com/impactedleaders if you're interested but you're not in LA and you want to let us know. So again, it's an extremely beneficial program. I am a graduate of the Institute of Impacted Leaders. A significant amount of our staff, Daisy included, are graduates of the Institute of Impacted Leaders, and it's a very empowering experience. And if you just want to learn more or hear some of our recent graduates talk about their experience with the Institute of Impacted Leaders, you can also go to, I'm going to plug that one in the chat, to tinyurl.com/instituteqa and listen to our most recent Q&A webinar, where we have some recent graduates speak about their experience and answer some of the frequently asked questions that come up when people are considering our program. So again, we highly encourage you to apply if you are in the LA region and you have the capacity to commit to 12 weeks, 1 night a week for this spring. And other announcements as far as what's happening at Initiate Justice is a release of what we are calling our companion journal. So for those of you who are new and who aren't familiar with our inside-outside organizing strategy, Initiate Justice mobilizes people both inside of California state prisons and outside of California state prisons, so people in the community who are impacted, to advocate for policy change. Well, inside, we have a membership base of over 46,000 friends and families throughout California state prisons who receive an Insight Journal 4 times a year. So that Insight Journal is produced by our Inside membership team, and it provides information and tools on advocacy, our organizing and policy efforts to end incarceration, updates on legislation that's either been passed or that is we're currently campaigning around, and more. And so that journal goes out inside 4 times a year, and you can actually view and take a look at our most recent issue at the link that I just plugged into the chat. But what we will be doing moving forward is we will be sending this journal also out to our entire IJ mailing list. So to best support family connections and community empowerment, we'll be sending a copy of that Inside Journal to everyone who is subscribed on our IJ mailing list. And it'll also include a few other educational links to things that we wish we could include in the Inside Journal, but that we hope loved ones will explore and share with their incarcerated family and friends. So our goal is that it'll give loved ones on the outside as well as those on the inside the connection and resources needed to kind of read along, support one another, and build with each other as we move toward policy change. It will be a plain text email, and it'll also be much longer than our general email. So just be on the lookout for that. Again, it'll be going out to our entire Initiate Justice mailing list, and we're super excited to give you all the opportunity to see what our inside members see and connect with them, connect with your loved ones. So if you are new tonight and you have a loved one who is incarcerated, but they are not on our mailing list and they're not receiving the Insight Journal, then you can sign your loved one up to receive that journal on the inside if they're not already on our mailing list. And so I am going to plug that link into the chat here in just a moment for those who are wishing to sign up their loved one to be an Inside member and receive a copy of our Inside Journal. And then another update that we have as far as what's happening at Initiate Justice is in regards or in relation to our Abolition is for Everybody podcast. So if you haven't heard of our podcast, our Abolition is for Everybody podcast is one in which directly impacted people explore and tackle the typically difficult conversations around prison abolition. Through friendly chats and conversations with some experts in the work, our co-hosts explore the histories, the futures, the obstacles, and some of the joys around abolition. So we have released season 1 last year. So all of season 1 is available. If you haven't listened to it, I highly recommend it. You can get the Abolition is for Everybody podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast, or you can also access it on our website along with transcripts if you would prefer to read that the podcast transcript. Season 2 is releasing this year, but what we are now building is a space of abolitionist resources to accompany the podcast, and it's a more interactive space. Our dream is that this space, which is called Ko-fi, will be able to provide an arena to have digital conversations and reply to and create resources that are needed to help us continue exploring abolition in practice. The vast majority of the videos, the art, and the resources that are uploaded there will be free to access. But we'll have a couple of lost pieces that'll be available to those who have made even just a one-time donation on that site. So we've already released our Introduction to Abolition 2 pages, and I'm plugging that link in the chat there where you can access it. And we'll be uploading new content a couple of times a month. So be sure to follow us on kofi.com/initiatejustice and check out that space for updated information and resources to help you navigate and explore abolition. Again, my name is Antoinette Radcliffe, the Outside Organizing Manager. I co-host the member meetings with Daisy, and thank you for your time. I am now going to pass it back to Daisy.
Thanks, Antoinette. And excited for y'all to be able to access that companion journal, to be able to really utilize that as a tool to, work through the journals that we send into folks on the inside, if you haven't seen what that looks like, go to our website. If somebody on the team could drop that in the chat, the link to the latest inside journal, you'll be able to see what folks on the inside get. And so really that companion journal is to help support the family connection and community empowerment piece. So excited to be able to really roll that out and hear from folks what you all think once you receive that. One more thing I wanted to just share, because there was somebody in the chat that asked a question that I think would benefit just the group knowing as a whole, if you're brand new to Initiate Justice. Our inside journal does get sent to folks who are in state prison and in county jail. So if you haven't signed them up to our mailing list, please do so. It's free to add them on there. Of course, if you would like to donate to help support those the funds that we use to produce that, somebody could also drop the donate link in the chat. We always appreciate money to be able to do that. But definitely free to sign up your loved one to receive that inside journal. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to the committee updates portion of our meeting. So I mentioned earlier that we really the bulk of the work that folks in the community can support with is in being involved in the committees. And so we have 5 different committees that support different areas of our work. And the first committee that y'all are going to hear from right now is our advocacy committee, which is co-led by our policy team that includes Greg and Sarah. And really, this committee supports our policy campaigns and helps empower our members to be confident and impactful advocates. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Greg, who will provide the update for tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Daisy. Hello, everyone. Good evening. It's good to see you all, as always, joining us for these meetings. My name is Greg. I am the policy manager for Initiate Justice. I use he, him, his pronouns. We have a bunch of events coming up this month. So let me start by putting the calendar of events right there in the chat. You can look that up. If you click the link, it has all of the RSVPs, our schedule. Each month we do 3 events. We do policy office hours, which is actually coming up next Tuesday. We're going to focus on budget advocacy and what California's budget looks like this year. The following week, we do a general advocacy committee meeting where we provide updates about the bills we're working on, the policies that we're seeking to advance this year. Folks are always welcome to attend any of these events. And then at the end of the month, my colleague Sarah hosts her Abolition Corner session where folks really dive deeper on some of the lingering questions and just other topics we bring up as they're related to abolition. So please join us. Again, there's no requirement for anybody to be policy experts or policy knowledge to join these conversations in these spaces. We will give you those tools and we'll get everybody up to date and up to speed. And as we like to say, you guys are our grassroots lobbyists. Since we don't have a big fancy law firm in Sacramento, but what we do have is the people power, which is all of you on this call, all of your loved ones. So it's really, really important that we know how to be strong advocates and how to use our voice and how to make a difference in Sacramento. Would really, really encourage folks to join us. We'll get you up to speed with everything. I do also want to touch on a few things for us. In the policy space, we're still putting our legislative package together for this year. So usually, we work on 3 to 4 bills and we try to find really big bills that are going to be game changers, that are going to be systemic change and are aligned with our organizational values. This year, it's looking, and I think it's shaping up to be a little bit tougher for going after some of those big wins this year. It's an election year in 2022. There are also these perceptions and false perceptions about crime rates and crime being out of control. That's going to make it pretty difficult to work on really big criminal justice reform bills this year. So despite all of that, we are still going to try our best and we'll work very hard to be working on things that will bring people home and will obviously end mass incarceration. So again, please come to any of our meetings. I will put my email in the chat as well as my colleague Sarah, who's not here this evening, but you can contact either of us anytime. We definitely have an open door policy. And yes, I look forward to seeing you all joining us in our committee. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. And Greg did drop his email along with Sarah's email in the chat. Greg's is greg@initiatejustice.org, and Sarah's is Sarah, SARAH, @initiatejustice.org. And really encourage folks who are interested in learning more about policy and our campaigns to be involved with this particular committee if that's an area that you're interested in. You also are able to learn a lot just by sitting in and listening to what they have to share, the topics that they cover in their various committee sessions. But in addition, the policy office hours really is a space where you can come and really just ask questions that you're curious about when it comes to policy. So I encourage you all to check out the link that we dropped in the chat where you can register for the committee events which are all hosted over Zoom as a result of the pandemic. So please feel free to browse their page for registration information. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and have our Inside Membership Committee co-leads provide the update on the committee that they oversee. The Inside Membership Committee in particular supports the communication and the recruitment of members on the inside for Initiate Justice, and really are the reason behind that beautiful Inside Journal that we produce on a quarterly basis. So I'll pass it over to Crystal and Efrain, who co-lead this committee.
Hey everybody, welcome. So great to see all of you again. Some of the new faces, welcome. My name's Efrain. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm the Inside Programs Associate with Initiate Justice, in which I co-lead the Inside Membership Department with my partner, Crystal, who's the Inside Membership Manager. Say hi, Crystal. So our committee, as Daisy mentioned, our committee focuses on providing information, resources, the Inside Journal, and empowering our Inside Membership Department, which is half the prison population. We're over 47,000 members strong now, which is sad but exciting at the same time, because we know there's power with numbers. So what we do, we send them updated policy information, keeping them up to date with information which impacts them. We do this 4 times a year through our Inside Journal, along with other attachments that we send inside. We give them opportunities to power build, whether that's writing letters of support for bills that we're working on, or opposition bills that we don't want to pass, right? We send them that information of how they can get involved, how they can get, advocating inside for themselves and for the rest of them inside. Our department is also, like Daisy mentioned, we're in charge of responding to their mail requests, any questions they might have, and we do this with the help of all our volunteers who take time out of their own day to help us out. In this mail process, we also get a lot of membership signups, which we have our volunteers help us as well. We do data entry. That's how we got this number. We're getting more and more people, which is great, because more and more people want to learn, want to get more tools to advocate for themselves. So we do that as well. But one of the things that we're really focusing on this year is just uplifting their voices, right? Uplifting the voices of all those members, over half the California prison population. And that's one of the things that we're focusing on this year. So if you guys care to learn more, feel free to email myself at Efrain@initiatejustice.org or Crystal@initiatejustice.org. They'll plug that in, or join us in our next committee meeting. We have a committee meeting next Wednesday, February 9th at 5:30. Is it the 9th? I want to make sure. It's next Wednesday. I just want to make sure it's the right date. But yeah, feel free to join us or email us, reach out to us, and learn more about our committee. Back to you, Daisy.
Thanks, Efrain. And Antoine had just dropped the contact information for Crystal and Efrain. Crystal's email is crystal@initiatejustice.org, and Efrain's is EFRAIN@initiatejustice.org. Also, if you sign up for any of their committees, which we'll share the link in a bit, you get added to the committee's email list. And you'll have their direct contact information that way as well. But thank you so much for that update, Efrain. I also dropped in the chat the link to our latest Insight Journal if you wanted to check that out and look it over. We have it in English and in Spanish, thanks to our volunteers who were able to put that together. I will go ahead and move on to our Insight Organizing Committee. So this committee is co-led by Lee and Adam, and really what they do is they help develop the leadership of our Insight organizers. So I'm going to pass it over to the dynamic duo who is ready with energy to come at y'all with their updates.
Daisy, thank you so much, and good evening, my bill-changing, beautiful people. Tonight's meeting is all about networking and linking. Here at IJ, we have more links than every set of handcuffs in California, and we're gonna need them to bust those cuffs off of our loved one's wrist. My name is Lee, he, him, his. I'm the Inside Organizing Manager here at Initiate Justice, and this is one of my collaborators in prison abolition, Mr. Adam Kane. Introduce yourself.
Hey, well, it seems like you already introduced me. My pronouns is he, him, his. Adam Kane, I am the Inside Program Associate at Initiate Justice. So glad to be in this space with y'all. Everybody that's new here, thank you for being here. Please stay connected. Tonight is about connecting, so please stay connected with IJ. Please stay connected with the community. So we have 249 inside organizers, 41 senior IOs, and 8 mentors, which we are training, right? And so what we do is when we have members that want to take their learning to the next level, we have something that's called inside organizing, right? And so what the inside organizing team does, we train and educate incarcerated folks about the legislative process, intersectionality, and person-centered language. It's a 62-page curriculum and workbook. Graduates receive certificates and letters of support. So with that, once they finish that, they can also level up. And that's where I pass it to you, Lee, because in the background, looks like he's trying to level up.
Leveling up, becoming a senior inside organizer inside of our institutions. What does that mean? That means that we have standout advocates at their facilities. They collect support letters, they conduct surveys, they carry out social justice action items. There are people, our boots on the ground within those walls that continuously change these laws. They are our partners inside, just like you are their partners. So phone trainers that train the folks out there, we need you. That's where you all come in. So we need people that are reviewing curriculums and training our folks inside, giving them the education, giving them the support, and giving them the knowledge to be able to be the most effective person that they can be inside, so we can continue to bring our loved ones home. And so with that said, our IO committee, what do we need, Adam? What are we working on this year?
And we need people to sign up and continue to stay involved so we can continue to educate our loved ones inside. What we're working on this year is delivering more workshops and starting IJAG groups inside. IJAG means Initiate Justice Activity Group. If you want to learn more about how important that is, please show up to the IO committee and we can explain, or you can email me directly at Adam@Initiate Justice or Lee @Initiate Justice, so we can continue explaining if you need more clarification of what we're talking about, because it may seem like so much. We meet every first Thursday after the meeting. We meet every first Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30. Just 1 hour. We make sure we get in there and we talk about what needs to take, what action items we may have, and continue to make sure that everybody is on the same page and feeling the energy of contributing to phone training and contributing to reviewing curriculum, because we know how hard this work can be. So we definitely like to keep a space to check in. So with that, I want to thank everyone. that does participate in the IO committee. And I also want to welcome everyone that wants to sign up and be a part of the IO committee. With that, I pass it back to Lee if you have any closing remarks.
The background says it all. These are our people. These are our loved ones. These are the ones that we're trying to bring home. These are the ones that we want out here with us, joining us in these meetings, just like our other fellow IOs that have come out here and actually got involved in the communities. And so we want to see, we have 90 people, 90 participants here tonight. That's what we want to see at our IO committee tomorrow. We want to see 90 people coming in, lending a hand, and making sure that we bring our loved ones home. So everyone, thank you so much for participating tonight. And with that, Daisy, I pass it back to you. Thank you so much for giving this space.
Thank y'all for all that energy and all that update. I think I'm just waiting for the day that both of you show up in the same matching shirt. And I don't know if it's going to be a Blue IJ shirt or something else, but thank y'all for that update. And we dropped the emails to contact this wonderful dynamic duo in the chat. So you can contact Lee, Lee, at initiatejustice.org, and Adam at initiatejustice.org for questions related to their committee. They are meeting tomorrow, 5:30. So if you wanted to RSVP to their meeting, please click on the link that's in the chat. And there's also, the link is also available on the calendar of events that is available through our website. But next up, I am going to have Antoinette go over the updates for the outside membership committee. So this committee is actually co-led by myself and Antoinette. In this committee, we particularly help to really develop and engage the membership structure of folks on the outside to support our work. And what that looks like is outreach and speaking and out to the community about the work that we do at Initiate Justice. So I'll pass it over to Antoinette. I think you may be frozen, Antoinette, or you have a very strong smile on your screen. So I'm not sure. Okay, I see you now. I'll pass it over to you.
Can you hear me is the question. Yes, you can hear me. Okay, great. So as Daisy said, we co-lead the outside membership committee, and the tasks and projects that we focus on are developing new ways to interact with the community and connect with new members for Initiate Justice. We brainstorm and develop ways to build connections amongst our existing community members and Initiate Justice organizers. And then we also focus on other ways that we can do outreach and other ways that we can really just get our information, our knowledge, and our tools out into the community and into the hands of impacted people. And so our outside membership committee meeting, we meet every fourth Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. So we just met last week, and some things that we're currently working on, we're producing skill building webinars. We have some already on our YouTube. So these are webinars to provide some of the fundamental tools around communication, around doing research, navigating the online space for our existing members. We are also working on developing new outreach materials, taking some of our concepts, some of our tools, and some of our knowledge and putting them into the digestible outreach materials that we can share into the community. And so if you are interested in supporting those types of efforts and engaging with our outside membership base and connecting also with our outside organizers, we have several outside organizers that support our outside membership committee, then feel free to join Daisy and myself every fourth Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Our February meeting will be February 23rd at 5:30. If you have any questions, ideas, thoughts, you can connect with Daisy or myself. My email is Antoinette@initiatejustice.org, and we will put that in the chat. Daisy's email is daisy@initiatejustice.org. So we definitely encourage you to join us Wednesday, February 23rd at 5:30 p.m. And we welcome all individuals, all perspectives to make sure that we are really connecting with those who could support our membership base, whether that be allies, impacted community members, and others. So thank you, and I will pass it back to Daisy.
Thanks, Antoinette. And the last committee that we're going to be hearing from is our healing committee. So if you were here at the beginning, you saw and were able to experience Oka facilitating that grounding exercise. So Oka, as part of the healing committee, will be providing updates as far as like the spaces that we create for folks who are directly impacted, members and organizers, to really address the issues that are affecting our lives. So Oka, I will pass it over to you.
Thank you, Daisy. And thank you, Greg and Sarah, Crystal and Efren, Lee and Adam, Antoinette, for sharing all of those beautiful updates. Healing. So we are living this human experience. Astrologically, 2022 to 2024 are the quantum leap years. So a lot of change is going to happen. And two of the focuses are, okay, I'll come back to that. So I want to talk about how IJ supports with healing. We have Mindful Mondays, and the word mindful comes from a Buddhist word, sati. And what sati means, the philosophy of sati is to come back to. To come back to what? To come back to our center, our breath, gratitude, compassion. And in this place that magnifies. And there is a collective shift happening, and it is beautiful to be alive right now. And I'm grateful to be here alongside each of you who are showing up on this beautiful Wednesday evening. So thank you. So IJ Healing has created an intention for Mindful Mondays, and I dropped it in the chat. The intention of Initiate Justice Mindful Monday is for you to experience a safe, open, and inviting space grounded in compassion and gratitude, where people can be like-minded, experienced people to experience breakthroughs. I believe we have a breakdown to have a breakthrough, and there's darkness and there's light. And there's this dark energetic system that was created intentionally, but there's light. We are light. The light is inside of each of you. And ultimately to feel connected within and with others, and to practice compassion for ourselves and for others, and to focus on the light that's inside of you that's just going to magnify. So there's Mindful Mondays coming up in all of the Mondays in February except on Valentine's Day. And they're in the chat. The men's circle, all men are invited, or people who identify as a man. February 7th is the next one. After that, we have people who have experienced incarceration, February 21st. And then people who have a loved one that's incarcerated is February 28th. And I am so grateful that we have amazing facilitators who have been doing this for a long time, holding space. And I believe tools are the things we can use in our everyday life. And so you will leave with tools. A tool that I want to share with you today, and something I'm working on. Everything I'm saying to me is a tool is acknowledgements. So sometimes I find myself, like needing love and validation from other people, but really, am I doing it? And so I acknowledge myself for. So I invite you to write 10 acknowledgements tonight. I acknowledge myself for driving across the town today to test a student. I acknowledge myself for doing 5 dishes. Literally, I did 5. But I acknowledge myself for that, And let's just continue to acknowledge ourselves, because I believe that's a tool that can fill up our cup. It fills mine up. So I hope it fills yours up. I like to write it down because then it's a body, mind, like, something actually happens when it comes out of our mind and onto paper. That is magic, and it's a tool. Let's see. Let's also breathe. There's a lot of information given to each of you. So let's just take a deep collective breath in and fill up your lower belly and let it out. Beautiful. I see you. Inhale in and let your lower belly expand and breathe it out. Good. Breathe in love and breathe out doubt. Good. Continue to breathe in anything you want and desire. Thank you. I'll pass it over to Daisy.
Thanks so much, Oka, for those updates. And again, for all of the events that we are hosting for circles as part of our Mindful Monday series, you can go to initiatejustice.org /healing, which we dropped in the chat for y'all. And feel free to contact Join Healing at initiatejustice.org for questions in regards to the healing committee. So thank you so much for those updates, Oka. And then just the last thing I wanted to share with y'all, now that you've heard all of these updates from the various committees, all of the updates or all of these events and the links where you can register for them are available on our website through our calendar of events. I've dropped the link in the chat, but if you go to our website, we do have a tab that's specifically dedicated to that. And you're able to click on any of the events that you're interested in for the month of February, and that will take you to the link where you can register for those committee events. And if you wanted to do a deeper read as far as like what these committees do, you can go to the link that I just dropped in the chat on the outside membership structure, and that breaks down what the committees, some of the responsibilities that they are involved with. But in addition, Antoinette just dropped the link where you can sign up for any of these committees. And we also have now an option where you can sign up for Abolition Corner, if that's something that you're also interested in following. So all that information will be included in the post email recap that we send out, but just wanted to share that with you all so you have that available tonight if that's something you're eager to do at this very second. But otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and move us along in the agenda for our main presentation tonight. So tonight we wanted to really talk about the power of networking with you all and what building community and sharing resources looks like and why it's important and why it matters in the spaces that we're in. So we wanted to first kind of start out by sharing with you all what we mean when we talk about networking and building relationships. And so really for us, one way to think about it is we wanted to make sure folks that understand that connecting with organizations and groups that are involved in work that really helps to uplift and provide resources for folks that are especially in impacted communities, marginalized communities, and really people who are directly impacted are folks that we can really build a potential partnership and collaborations with. This is especially important, I think, when we are in the advocacy space and trying to garner support for our policy campaigns that we are doing, getting organizations and people really involved with different takes and different experiences in various sectors in the community is always good to really uplift the power of what we can build behind these campaigns. And in addition, being able to share out those resources with other people and groups and organizations is what makes us stronger as a whole. And being able to learn about what services are available and the information that they have to share out as far as like how we can utilize that information is important. In particular, I'm thinking of the example with our outside organizers who are folks that have graduated from our Institute of Impacted Leaders program, folks who go on to become outside organizers after being part of this program are then able to participate in a dedicated email list that we have just for these folks, where we can share out opportunities, specifically employment opportunities or events or fellowships or internships or volunteer opportunities that really are able to uplift the leadership of them and their community. So these are just some ways that we can share that information with folks in the community. And Antoinette, I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to add on to that before we dive into the conversations we wanted to engage with the group, but wanted to make space if that was something you wanted to also add. And you're on mute.
I can elaborate a little bit. I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that like building relationships is one of our primary tools and actions for organizing. So in order for us to build power in our communities and in our constituency, we first have to build relationships. We build relationships with each other. We build relationships within our communities, with allies, and just with other humans in general. I think it's how we as Initiate Justice maintain such a strong community. And our hope is that you're all taking what you learn and gain from our spaces and sharing that with your family, with your friends, with your networks, and others in your community as you build and nurture additional relationships outside of Initiate Justice. And then I also want to acknowledge that it's like a founding principle of Initiate Justice, right? Our 46,000 or 47,000 plus members inside, that's a network of people across California state prisons that are now connected through Initiate Justice and through our Inside Journal. Our political influence that allows us to win policy campaigns, like that's the result of the relationships we continue to build with each other and with our reps. And then I also just want to uplift the fact that this can happen in informal and unstructured spaces. So over dinner with your family and friends, over a phone call, through an email, at a dog park. I know Daisy made a connection recently at a dog park, and just in general, as we interact with one another. And this is how we begin to change a culture of like punishment and caging and isolation. We change how we relate to each other. We build stronger and better and more healthy relationships with each other. We build networks of support that we can lean on in the face of harm and in the face of trauma. And I think that, you know, sharing relationships with other people who are in need is a significant contributing factor to that. And the more we connect with people, the more we can begin to understand what it is that we all need to be safe and to be healthy. And we discover the similarities in our experiences and like the overlaying and the like layers of different struggles that we experience. So just kind of wanted to touch on that and just appreciate all of the relationships and connections we've built here at Initiate Justice and throughout our communities already.
And just one more thing I wanted to add to that. Thanks for that, Antoinette. I am thinking back to when I first found Initiate Justice back in 2000, I think it was the end of 2018. And Taina had hosted like a workshop that I came across on Facebook where it was like a one-day policy workshop and just kind of get an overview of the state legislature, and really thinking how when I came across Initiate Justice, it was really that one time in my life where I felt, oh, wow, like I finally have a resource where I can go to that can aid me on my journey and really help keep me informed and educated on how I can help bring my loved ones home. And so thinking how many other people are there out there that are also in that same position. We've heard tonight in the chat from folks who are sharing that they're coming out to tonight's meeting after hearing about us for the first time. either on TikTok or through a Facebook group or through a friend who brought them to the space. So just an open invitation to continue to spread the word about the work that we do, because you really don't know who is going to be needing us as that resource. And they may be someone that may be interested in the Institute, or maybe somebody who really would benefit from participating in a committee and really building their skills up through that. So, and even as simple as what Antoinette mentioned, like I met somebody at the dog park yesterday who recognized Initiate Justice from a sweater I was wearing, and making that connection and realizing the impact that our organization is having on our community. So just really wanted to highlight that. And we are very lucky to have all of you all as members of Initiate Justice, as folks who are interested and invested in our work. So please continue to share about our work with folks in your areas. But we actually also wanted to make space for folks in this group to share out what are some of the ways that they engage with folks in their community. So I'm going to be sharing my screen here in a second, but the question that we wanted to pose to y'all, and this is something that could be beneficial to others in the space who maybe are brand new to networking and building relationships with organizations and other people in their areas. But what are some ways that you connect with people in your community to build these relationships? And I'll drop that question in the chat so y'all have access to that before my screen goes away. But I'm going to share my screen here in a second and also drop the link to a Jamboard. And if you're brand new, you are going to experience the Jamboard for the first time. This is a really interactive way for y'all to share and post up your ideas and thoughts to that question. And you can, if you're seeing my screen, you're able to click on this icon on the left-hand side of the screen. It's the fourth button down. It looks like a little sticky note. And if you hover over it, it says sticky note. And that lets you choose the color of your sticky note. And you can drop in here your response. And let me just do this so that way y'all can see how that works. And there it goes. So again, the question is, what are some ways that you connect with people in your community to build relationships? So feel free to drop your questions, your responses to that in the chat, or go ahead and go on the Jamboard and add your post-it notes. But we want to see what is generating from your minds as we have this conversation to really help folks in this space, especially those who are still building up the skill to have these in their toolbox and continue to do outreach in their communities. And I see that Martha, you are raising your hand. So go ahead and unmute yourself and let us know for you what that it looks like.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, my name is Martha Yanis, and I am impacted by incarceration directly. I was in prison. I've done all of them, like since county, state, and federal. I've been out now for about 3 years. It's going to be 3 years now, and I am now. I go to college. I'm a college student, and I also work for an organization called Project Kinship. We are a nonprofit organization. We go to the jails and we actually speak to people when they're coming out, and we offer them shoes if they're not wearing shoes. We offer them clothes, sweaters, snacks, a phone call. We make like direct contact right from the get-go when they're coming out and ask them if there's anything that we can help them with, and we help out with like certain things. We could direct them to housing. We have like anything that vouchers to get their ID, rides if they need a ride. Even if they're out of state, we serve the Orange County community, but I do live in LA, but we serve the Orange County community. And I started off with Homeboy Industries, so it's kind of like a extension of Homeboy Industries. And that's how I do, like, I guess that's a way of me giving back what was given to me, because I am so extremely appreciative, because I was once in a very low point where I was just like, nobody wants to hire me. Who's going to want to even talk to me? I've been incarcerated. I felt like people could tell that I was, and I had that stigma like hanging over my head. And it wasn't until I went to Homeboy Industries, and then I don't know how in the world I did this, but I did a stand-up comedy. Yeah, and it was like my first time doing it, and I made fun of the situation of my experience, and that really helped me get out of break out of that, stigma of that. And then I put my previous incarcerating event to a good use to help others that have been in my situation, and everything's been going incredibly awesome. And I'm just really grateful for trust me, this stuff really works. I mean, this stuff truly works, and I want to advocate and I want to give back. Thank you for listening to me.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing, and welcome home. And I don't know if you're able to read the chat, but there's definitely a couple of folks who have given welcoming remarks to you, Marta. So thank you for the work that you are doing and for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And then we also have a couple of folks dropping things on the Jamboard. I know that there were a couple of other responses, and I don't know where they went, but they somehow seem to disappear. So sorry if that was one of yours. I've been trying to figure out how to get them back, and I can't figure it out. But if you're having trouble accessing the Jamboard, also feel free to drop in the chat your response, and we are more than happy to add it on there for you. But I've seen a couple on the screen showing up. Jay shared about talking with people on the daily. And Jay, I don't know if you wanted to share more about it, because I know that's something that you are often doing in your local community, and maybe hearing, maybe folks hearing, like, can hear on like what methods you use in building those relationships in your community would be beneficial to them in building up that skill.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Jay. Formerly incarcerated, systems impacted individual. I'm also an outside organizer with IJ, and I was an inside organizer with IJ as well. So it's a blessing to be here in this space with all y'all. And the way that I pretty much go about it is I'm just basically loud and proud, and I live in a pretty conservative part of California, so most people are living with those crazy conservative talking points about, like someone mentioned earlier, crime and all these reformist ideals and things like that. So I just basically come from a respectful lens of love, and I just basically dismantle those talking points, because controlling the narrative is very important. If we don't control the narrative, our opposition has the opportunity to put out there whatever they want. And in this society where our children are not allowed to critically think in school, where they're not teaching social studies anymore, or critical thinking itself, those can be very dangerous, especially with the influences of social media. So I just basically had these conversations on a daily with individuals. Like today I had one with my supervisor where we were talking about, CRT. We were talking about, the influences of the system of mass incarceration, the carceral system, and how it's a guilty before innocent system that just, preys on and further marginalizes people who have already been, marginalized since the beginning of the nation. So I usually come from a place of love, but also too, I'm slightly firm, and I have all the facts to back it up. So, that's how I choose to attack it, from a respectful standpoint, but based on the knowledge that I've gained here at IJ, through the Institute of Impacted Leaders and as well as school. So, and then lived experience, you know, so yeah, it's amazing. But I'm happy to be here, and it's amazing to be in space with y'all. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Jay. And just wanted to uplift what folks in the chat are also adding is that Jay is also one of our newest board members for Initiate Justice. So just wanting to add that cherry to the ice cream that folks have been sharing in the chat. But go ahead, Antoinette. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was literally going to say the same thing. Congratulations to Jay as one of our newest IJ board members, but then also someone in the chat who's uplifting Jay is also herself an IJ board member, which is Maria. I just want to acknowledge those individuals, and then also kind of uplifting some other things on the JAM board. Our executive director says that she talks to everyone about policy change, from her dentist to her brother, because you never know who you can connect with, and that itself is also very powerful. And then also going to the park and talking with other nannies and other people. So just kind of uplifting some of those statements that are being shared on the JAM board. And then I also see some hands raised, so I wanted to give them the opportunity to speak. So Christopher, if you want to go ahead and share how you connect and build relationships with people.
Hey y'all, hey, yay. All right, for me, I think I put it up there, but for me, how I build relationships is just one-on-one conversations about, you know, my experience in being formerly incarcerated. And I make sure that everyone can relate and identify with that. And if there is a relation or identification with that, then I take it to the next level. But for me, it's just one-on-one conversation. I don't want to be too overwhelming and too overbearing. You know, I just want to, you know, keep it simple, keep it short, and make sure that, you know, they can relate and identify with that. And then I talk about healing a lot, like a lot, like healing and just transformative justice and what that lens looks like. And that's how, like, when people be like, oh, what's transformative justice? And then I get to gauge them like that, like explain transformative justice and it, you know, dealing with the wider lens of preventing harm. And then I go into that, and then 9 times out of 10, I get people like my good friend Kendra, who like is interested in the whole thing. And so, yeah, that's what we do over here.
Thank you, Christopher. And yes, thank you for inviting Kendra. So happy to see you. It's nice to connect with you. And I know also Carrie wanted to share, and then we're going to have some breakout room time for us to discuss some other things in breakout rooms. But Carrie, how do you connect and build relationships in your community or share information and resources?
I'd say I do social media as well as meeting up with lots of amazing people, and we all learn something new every day. You know, I'm not one that knows it all, but I'm here to always contain and consume as much information. And IJ has been so empowering for me. I feel that, you know, you've supported all of our families, but most of all the people on the inside. And that's where my heart and my passion is keeping our families connected. Since I've graduated the San Jose cohort, I had amazing facilitators, Yolanda and Graham. And I've had many ledge visits lately, as well as my youth, my son. He's also, you know, done a visit and supported his community and other youth that are impacted by incarceration. And we've also, you know, taken my grandchildren. It's just family, you know, supporting each other and connecting, you know, building a bridge to knock down all those barriers that we're fighting and challenging against, you know, and in the separation that deals with the mass incarceration. So I'm all about empowering and supporting others and meeting at a park if we have to, getting together on social media, getting away from it all and being here for one another. And I just thank each and every one of you. And I thank our IJ team and facilitators, and I appreciate appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you so much, Carrie. And for those of you that maybe are new to advocacy or organizing, abolition, any of this work, or just new to building relationships and connecting with your community, take some of these ideas, use them, and also like look at these individuals as like advice and use these different ideas and experiences shared and try to implement maybe one or two in your own daily life and see what works for you. We definitely want to encourage and empower those of you that are new to this space or new to building relationships to get out there and connect and build community and also engage with other advocates and organizers. So I appreciate everyone for sharing. Thank you so much. We are going to transition a little bit. So I'm going to pass it back to Daisy as she transitions us into breakout groups to have a little bit more of an intimate conversation with one another. So go ahead, Daisy, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Antoinette. And just before we go into the breakout sessions, it's really bothering me that I can't find those initial posts that were disappeared from the screen. But the good thing is this call is being recorded, or this Zoom is being recorded. So I'm gonna go back and look at them and find them because there was some good ideas on the Jamboard and they just disappeared. I don't know where they went. But we're gonna go into breakout rooms to give y'all the opportunity to interact with each other and discuss if there are any groups or organizations in your area that provide services to people directly impacted by incarceration. Education and spreading of knowledge is how we learn best. Connecting with each other. And if you aren't familiar with any organizations or groups in your area that are serving the impacted community, what services is there a need for in your area? And that really would kind of help drive that conversation as far as like why it's important for this to be accessible to all. So we'll make sure that we share those questions on the I don't know what the word is called, but like the bulletin board where it goes out to everybody. That's what we're going to be doing for the next couple of minutes. And then we'll bring everybody back to see what y'all came up with. And who knows, maybe you might learn something tonight that you didn't know about a service in your area or in a different community that you might want to bring to your area. So let me go ahead and open up these rooms and we'll share that information. Again, the questions on the bulletin board in a moment. Us, and it looks like we have everybody back. So hopefully folks didn't get any weird pullout experiences. I think some folks may have been finishing up the tail end of their conversation. So sorry if we pulled you out of that. But now you know what the breakout experience is like here at IJ when we have our member meetings. But I'm going to pass it over to Antoinette, who's going to lead the share out portion of the breakout sessions with y'all.
Thank you, Daisy, and welcome back, everyone. How was that? I know our breakout room had a very productive discussion, but how was that for everyone? I see some hearts, some head nods, a lot more hearts. Awesome in the chat. I love it. So we just kind of want to take some time and hear from you all as to what that experience was like. So is there anyone who wants to share like maybe something you learned? A resource you learned about, or an organization or group you learned about that you think it would be beneficial for all of us to know about? Or is there something you were surprised to hear is available either in your area or in general? Yeah, and did you discover anything new? I want to open the floor to anyone who feels inclined to share.
I can share. I'm Stephanie, just for people that don't know me, but actually in my breakout room, we were spoke with Jay and Ernesto. Actually, I recruited Ernesto to come to IJ, and now this is his 4th meeting, and I hope he enjoys coming because he's coming back. And then with Jay, we were actually sharing I was sharing that I'm right now working on Eunice Hernandez campaign, and I'm actually also sharing with all the people who I'm, you know, communicating with, that I'm sharing about IJ. I'm like, hey, like, have you ever heard of IJ? And I'm doing 2 things at a time, intersecting everything. And I'm having people add on social media, like, hey, follow IJ, like, check out their abolitionist for everybody podcast. And people are like, dude, that's dope. What is that? So, and also Jay shared for people in Bakersfield, the 661 voices heard. Is that what it's called? Okay. Oh, well, that's it.
Thank you, Stephanie. And sorry, y'all probably see me over here fighting with my dog for my charger, so excuse me. But I know that Rashida also has her hand raised. So Rashida, did you want to share?
Yes. I just want to give a shout out to Emiliano and MJ. What we talked about, to sum it up, was basically the power of community, the power of collectiveness, the importance of being authentic, the importance of saying hi to someone, the importance of being in a room of people who have like minds, and learning from them and being brave and having the courage to speak, because you never know. The importance of, again, smiling and giving off that energy, because you never know who may needs it. The importance of how, circling back, I gave an example of how I started off in SC Justice Organization, and Taina was a sister of SC, and then she had her own organization, which is IJ, and then I was able to come over to IJ because of Taina inspiring me. But and then me not even liking policy at all, but how Taina and Richie made policy cool, and now I've been able to like have my voice in this work. And then how my influence in this work has just been able to like be pulled on from other people. So just, again, keeping those connections, being intentional in the work, being authentic in the work, and just being inspired and motivated. So again, just wanting to shout out MJ, because again, our connection, we met at one of the Christmas circles or Christmas card circles, but then she noticed me again on here. And so that was super cool. So yeah, those are some of the things we talked about. Oh, and Brianna too. Brianna was able to listen to me. So she couldn't like say anything, but we were holding space for her as well as she was with her son. So again, thank you all.
Thank you, Rashida, for sharing. And I just want to uplift things being shared in the chat and for sharing resources. Rashida actually just released her first self-published book. It's a children's book called Justice. And Justice is a young boy who's struggling to express his feelings about his father's incarceration until a very meaningful visit he had helped him develop enough courage to finally share his truth with his classmates. And so I plugged the link in the chat to purchase. If you have young family members, children who are struggling to cope with their loved one's incarceration, highly would recommend that you purchase Justice by Rashida. So thank you, Rashida, for all that you contribute to our community and in this work. And I do also see some other hand raised. So Medea, if you want to go ahead and share as well, you are welcome.
It was exciting. I always love breakouts because you get to kind of be in a little bit more of an intimate setting. I happen to be in breakouts with people that I hadn't seen before or like met. I met Christopher before at another meeting, but Sherry, Mel, there was like new people and they're completely fresh, new first meeting. So to get to see me in there is kind of like lively, you know, because I'm so passionate about what we do. But I feel like it's absolutely refreshing to be able to share with people that are new and for them to be able to be, you know, introduced to IJ in this setting is just so heartwarming to me. I know that Christopher was able to share some resources local to his area. And the other 3 people in the group were kind of like writing down feverishly. I saw them writing down these resources, and really to be able to have a good experience and come back to me is amazing. And I know I'll see them back, you know, because they know that we're here because we want to bring their loved ones home. So that's always exciting.
I love that. I love that. And there's definitely lots of sentiments expressed for you in the chat as well, Maria, but definitely love to hear the information sharing happening for those who are new to this space and really demonstrating like the power of just networking and just talking to one another and really just connecting with each other in these spaces. And this can happen outside of like spaces designated for it. It can happen at any moment throughout your day. So definitely encouraging you all to continue to have conversations like this, impromptu, on the fly, in the grocery store, at school, at work, really encouraging you all to continue. And I know Irma wants to give her feedback as well. So Irma, do you want to go ahead and share?
Yes, I was in the group with Hilda and so Hilda was new. This was her first meeting. And So Thin recently just came home, so we want to welcome him home. He's been home about 4 months now. It was very interesting because I know in my area, I live in Covina, there's not a lot of resources out in this area. And I usually have to go into LA for a lot of my resources. Um, and then So Thin shared that he was with the Amni House, which I felt really excited about because that's one of the institutions that responded to me quickly when my son was going up for parole. So it was nice to hear some of his experiences with that. Um, so even though we didn't have a lot of resources, I know I work with Fair Chance mainly because they're really trying to get rid of LWOP and the 3 strikes. Um, but I did learn some new things, especially from So Thin, in terms of the transitioning back home and some of the needs, which shows a big need for more resources so that they can be successful, and also some lessening of some of these requirements placed on new releases so that they can be successful. And I'm finding out for really, Lee brought up the fact that it's more than just having the resources, but having access and connecting to those resources are very important. Uh, and for me, I feel like I need to be a little bit more involved on the to really get some change in the criminal justice system. Like I've been attending all the committee meetings on the revision of the penal code and also attending the LA Sheriff Civilian Oversight Committee just to give me a better feel of what's going on, what people are really trying to do, and to get some, pertinent data in terms of how to really make some legislative changes. So I learned something, and I'm quite sure the rest of the group learned something too.
Thank you so much for sharing, Irma. That's extremely powerful, and welcome home, Sutton. And I'm just grateful that everyone had a good experience, that the breakout rooms were productive, each in their own way. And just honored to be in space with each and every one of you because you're all powerful, you're all insightful, and you're all inspiring, every single one of you. So thank you each for being here. It's definitely been a pleasure to have these discussions with you all and connect with each of you a little bit more. Like that was definitely enjoyable. So again, truly, truly appreciate it. And we do have just a real quick closeout ask for everyone. So I'm going to pass it to Daisy, and then we'll wrap up for the evening.
Thanks, Antoinette. And thank you all for sharing and participating in these conversations. I mean, this is how we learn, this is how we grow. And hopefully, like I said, y'all walk away tonight with some little bit of new information that may be beneficial to y'all as you continue to build relationships in this space. We wanted to close out this segment by giving you all a resource to use if you want to continue building on the skill. If you're brand new to it, using a template may be helpful in connecting with organizations or groups in your area, especially with regards to making that connection to initiate justice. So in the chat, we are going to share a link to a document that you are all more than welcome to use to help you all with reaching out to organizations that you think would benefit from learning about our work and helping them with what they're doing. So we have 3 separate templates in the document, and I'll share my screen just for ease of everyone being on the same page. The first script is a general introduction script that you can just copy and paste, and it gives you a space where you can fill in your name, and it's just kind of like a general introduction as far as like who Initiate Justice is, what we do, and how folks can tune in to learn more about our work, along with some social media accounts that they can follow to stay plugged into Initiate Justice. This is very general, so if you are someone that's been actively involved with Initiate Justice, or you're an outside organizer or an outside member that's been heavily invested in the work that we are doing, feel free to add and really cater this to your experience, because I think especially when folks share out directly from their experience, it definitely hits different when you are doing outreach. So this is the first script that we have for you all to be able to use to continue to build on those skills. The next one we have is a template in particular to the Institute of Impacted Leaders. I think this is especially helpful if you maybe are in a setting where you have access to a lot of folks who are system impacted. I'm thinking in particular, for example, universities and colleges that may have like clubs that are specifically for folks who are system impacted. This could be a great way to advise them of the Institute of Impacted Leaders program, to share out with folks who are part of their immediate networks. And so feel free to utilize, again, this to be able to continue to do that outreach work. And the last one is specifically for the podcast Abolition is for Everybody. So we mentioned that we recently launched a podcast last year, and this has been something that folks have really found helpful with trying to break down those tough conversations on the issue of abolition. So this is a template that y'all can use to share out with folks you think and organizations that you think may benefit from learning about the podcast, as well as ways that they can stay engaged with our account. So this is, again, a resource that we wanted to share with you all to make it easier. It's a simple copy and paste or fill in the blank for your name, but otherwise it's pretty much there to be utilized. And that wraps up our main segment for tonight. So thank you all for joining us. One thing before we end the meeting, so we, at the end of every member meeting, highlight a member of the month portion, and this is where we take the moment to recognize a member who really has made significant contributions to our work. So I'm going to pass this over to Efrain, who's going to have the honor of announcing who our February 2022 member of the month is on 2222. Efrain, I'll pass it over to you.
Pass it over to me with the 2222. You know, I've these meetings are so rejuvenating, they're so uplifting, and then closing out with our member of the month is always exciting. So this month, we're highlighting one specific member. It's a graduate of our Institute of Impacted Leaders Bakersfield cohort in 2021. Has participated in legislative visits and helped advance our bills to further develop advocacy skills for our Institute of Leaders program. They have become a strong leader in our space. Be involved with the Inside Membership Committee, assist with responding mails for our Inside members, entered over 1,200 names for our Inside membership database, and always participates in our brainstorm sessions. This person has provided great feedback, including attended our OO retreat and provided great feedback there. A big supporter of abolition for everybody, joins every abolition corner and brings awesome points. We can't say enough about this person. And actually, I have someone that wanted to say some things in regards to this. So I will pass it over to Taina.
Yes, I wanted to add that this member of the month, in addition to all of the incredible work that they do with Initiate Justice, they also do a lot of work with our 501c4 organization, Initiate Justice Action. So not only are they handling business on the C3 side, they're also a leader on the 501c4 like political advocacy side. So I just wanted to add that as well. I'll pass it back to you, Efrain.
Thank you, Taina. Thank you for adding that. And then, so can I get everybody to drum roll, please? Everybody, virtual drum roll. Our member of the month this month is no other than Amy S. Amy S. Everybody, let's give some love to her. Shout out to her. And the floor is yours, Amy, if you would like to say a couple words.
Oh my God. I can't even believe that. Thank you. That's, I love this group. And I'm totally shocked. I was like doing the drum roll. Thanks, y'all. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all the great work you do for us and always continue to be involved, give us feedback. The feedback we get from you, from everyone here, it doesn't go unnoticed. We utilize it. Thank you very much, especially for helping up our committee a lot. So appreciate that. And I will pass it back to you, Daisy.
Thanks, Efrain. And just giving Amy her flowers in the chat and really uplifting just how significant the contributions you have made have been for our group and everything that you've done. Just as someone who has been able to watch you progressing your journey and going through the Institute and just finally like doing a legislative visit definitely has made me kind of be like, wow, like this really is like building up the skills of folks who are directly impacted. So congratulations, Dr. Smith, as somebody referred to you in the chat. We appreciate you, and we will be in touch for member of the month stuff that we do. So with that being said, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We are going to be sending an email out in the next week or so with a link to the recording that will have timestamps if you wanted to rewatch that, as well as any other relevant information that was shared out during tonight's meeting. You can access our full calendar of events on our website. So feel free to check that out and RSVP for any events that you want to attend this month. And our next meeting is taking place on Wednesday, March 2nd at 6:30. We hope to see you there. If you are brand new, we ask that you stick around for a brief orientation that we'll do, and that will satisfy that particular requirement to be considered eligible for an outside member. So thank you all for being here and have a wonderful evening. And we hope you all have a happy rest of your 2222.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Bye. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Amy.
Congratulations, Amy.
Congrats, Amy.
Congrats, Amy.
Thanks, you
Bye.
guys.
Good
Bye.
night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank y'all. Congratulations, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. Best friend. Appreciate you. She always helps me so many ways.